Hello. We've spent weeks talking about the challenges at home, but this week provided a terrible reminder of problems abroad. So this morning, how can we help? Disaster and distress. The earth shook. Thousands of lives lost in Turkey and Syria. Moments of miracle among the dust. And glimpses of history this week too. Nearly a year into the conflict in Ukraine, President Zelensky surprised with a visit and a demand.
We have freedom, give us wings to protect it.
A smaller share of taxpayers' cash goes to help the rest of the world than before. We have one big question this week. What are our responsibilities beyond these shores? Andrew Mitchell, the Cabinet Minister who looks after aid for other countries, is here. I've been to Warsaw to speak to President Zelensky's closest ally, the Polish President, Andrzej Duda, about the war. Labour's Lisa Nandy, who wants to level up our country, joins us from Nottingham. But it's Sunday morning and there's more to life than politics, so we'll talk to one of the nation's favourite cooks, Prue Leith, sorry Delia, on how to live happily, die well and learn to disagree. And to add to the mix, the Ukrainian ambassador to the UK, Vadim Prystaiko, who hatched the secret plan for President Zelensky's visit, the AI expert, Priya Lakhani, and the SNP MP, John Nicholson, joins us too. Hello and a very warm welcome to everyone watching in the UK and on BBC World. Get a coffee and get ready because there is so much interesting stuff to talk about this morning. And I promise we will talk about some things to gladden the heart in the next 60 minutes. But first, let's have a look at the front pages. You can see there the main story on the BBC website, the Americans shooting down an unidentified object over Canada. The tabloids with a variety of stories this morning. The Mail with a story about pressure on the UK armed forces. And the Sunday Times splashing with a story about the chair of the BBC, Richard Sharp, who's been strongly criticised by a committee of MPs who've been looking into his links with Boris Johnson and how he got his important and influential job. John, let's start with that. You're a member of the committee that's been investigating this. The conclusions of the report are clear. They say they made significant errors and he failed to tell you some vital information. Should he resign, do you think?
Well, I think his position is extremely difficult. He's lost the trust of the BBC staff. That's very clear. I've been deluged with messages from BBC staff saying they don't see how he can head up the BBC anymore. And he broke the rules. The rules are very clear. When you sign up for that job application, you're asked if there's anything about your relationships with anybody that could cause embarrassment. This has clearly caused embarrassment. We knew he was a big Tory donor. We knew he'd given hundreds of thousands to the Conservative Party. But what he didn't tell us was that he'd facilitated an £800,000 loan for Boris Johnson, the Prime Minister, who then gave him the job. It's all a bit banana republic.
Now, Richard Sharp has apologised for what he said went wrong, but he's denied some of the claims that have been made. But what do you think the consequences for this is if he stays?
Well, I hope very much that we will change the culture. Now, I do not think you should be able to give huge donations to a political party and then be rewarded by that political party with a plum job. And I hope very much that Keir Starmer now says that if he enters 10 Downing Street, will not appoint to plum public positions big Labour Party donors.
OK, we'll talk a bit more about that later. But Priya, you're an AI expert, and we'll talk about that a lot later.